Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome in. Welcome in. Happy Valentine's Day. Settle in, settle in. No technical difficulties today. Today we're streaming. Things are smooth. We're on time. Hi, Beatrice. I see you. Actually, let me see if the comment shows up as well. That would be awesome. All right. Hi, Beatrice. I don't know why I see myself dark on me. Join in, everyone. Join in, join in. Can you guys see me well? Why is my screen black? Okay, no, it's not black anymore. Come on in, my people. Happy Valentine's Day. I wore red just for y'all. Oh, you cannot see me. Okay. Maybe you can see me here, B. I think that's what it was. Let's give it a second. Happy Valentine's Day, y'all. You guys cannot see me. Can the people on YouTube see me? I think the people on YouTube can see me. But it doesn't seem like the people on Facebook can see me. What's going on there? I thought there was no issues. What's going on? And there was no. Where is the video? Let's see. I'm gonna turn off my camera and turn it back on. Maybe do a refresh. Let's see now. Yes, you guys can see me now. Yes, yes, yes. Guys, can you let me know if you can see me now? I can see myself. Let me know. Let me know if you can see me. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Dawn. All right, so we can see me on YouTube. I think you guys can see me on Facebook. I can see myself on Facebook, so I think we're good to go. I'm gonna turn off the music and I'm gonna wish you all, yay, wonderful. I'm gonna wish you all a happy Valentine's Day. I hope that you take this time today, extra time today, to show someone love. It doesn't need to be a husband or a wife or a girlfriend or a boyfriend. It can be a pet, it can be a child, it can be your things. It's just a moment to celebrate love. Is love something that we need to do every day? Yes. Nonetheless, we are taking one day to commemorate it and making it this great day. Okay? But this is not what the topic of the discussion is today. Today, we're going to talk about reconciliation as opposed to forgiveness. They're not the same. We're going to learn today what the difference is between those two, and if we need them, how do they work? Why do we need to practice those things? What does that mean? That's what we're here to talk about. Settle in. I have my tea. For the people who don't know me, my name is Anne-Christie Guillaume. My platform is called the School of Superpowers. My objective is to participate in humanity's evolution. Anything that has to do with bringing people forward, I want to participate in it. And one of the things that I'm working within is anything related to health, anything related to wealth, and anything related to personal development. This is who I am. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all these platforms. I also have a website, www.theschoolofsuperpowers.com. Check me out. One of the things that I created is a tool called Your Pathway, which is an online course that allows people to go through an internal transformation in order to realign themselves with what is good for them in their lives. Do you know how many people who are depressed, stuck, unsure, unclear about where their path is, unwilling to invest in something because they're not sure if that's the thing they need to invest in? People who don't know, what's my next best step? What is the next thing that I can do that's going to put me on a path of success? Success as I see fit, not the success that other people define, but my own success. I created a program that allows you to go through that transformation and identify for yourself what your purpose is, what you need to realign with, what should your next step be, instead of same old, same old, same old. We are in a second month, halfway through the second month of the year. This is a perfect time for you to realign yourself and find your path. The schoolofsuperpowers.com. The course name is Your Pathway. Check it out. And I actually have a fantastic special right now going on for the whole month of my birthday. I'm giving 50% off. So go for it. Check it out. Give yourself a gift of transformation. If you don't give it to yourself, you can give it to someone else, somebody who knows, who you know is stuck, who you know is not clear of where they need to go. Give them the gift of Your Pathway, for them to transform and for them to develop. My mission at the School of Superpowers is to help people in their personal development. Whatever I learn, I share. Which is why one of the things we're going to talk about is reconciliation and forgiveness. We know this is a hot topic, right? We know forgiveness. I hate this person. I don't want to forgive them. They should not have done these things to me, etc., etc. But what does it really mean? What can we do with it? What is it and what is it not? These are the things that we need to be clear of. What is reconciliation and forgiveness and what it is not, okay? Let's be clear. And I know it's going to make people's blood boil today because of the whole thing of forgiveness that people say you need to forgive, you need to forgive. let's go back to first principles. Let's define what forgiveness is, okay? Forgiveness is a personal decision to let go of resentment, bitterness, or the desire for revenge towards someone who has wronged you. It involves releasing negative emotions and feelings and choosing to pardon the offender, regardless of whether they apologize or made amends. Forgiveness is an internal process of healing and moving forward, and it does not necessarily require interaction with the offender or a restoration of the relationship. Note that forgiveness is an act that you do for yourself, by yourself, and it has nothing to do with the offender. Forgiveness is the practice of releasing the negative emotions, the resentment, the desire for revenge, even if the person came to apologize or not. You see how hard it is sometimes? I'm forgiving this person. This person has not even apologized to me. I'm going to color this live today with an actual situation that is happening to me right now. I won't name names, okay? But I want to be vulnerable with you guys and I want to share because as part of the personal journey, there's no shame in a personal journey. We're not expected to be perfect and always hitting the mark. Okay, guys, I think you should be able to see me now. Yeah, you should be able to see me. Let me know when you guys see me. Yep, I see myself now. We're back on. Back on, back on, back on. We are back on. Okay. Thank you for staying there. Thank you for staying put, guys. Okay, I think I'm having some internet issues. So if it happens again, I'm just going to refresh my page and that's going to be good, okay? But let us continue and we can see the comments. I want to see the comments as they are coming in. All right. Okay. So I was sharing something with you, okay? I was sharing with you that I too I actually am in the process of having negative feelings towards someone who hurt me. Okay. And I am in a process of forgiveness. However, right now I'm in the process of I want revenge. I want revenge. But I want to tell you that this is normal to go through those feelings. There's no shame in feeling the way we are feeling, but we have to be able to move past them. Okay. Let me tell you what reconciliation means. We just spoke about what does forgiveness means. Reconciliation is different. Reconciliation involves the restoration of a damaged relationship or the establishment of a new positive relationship after a conflict or a breach of trust. Okay? It goes beyond, reconciliation goes beyond forgiveness. It involves mutual acknowledgement of wrongdoings, sincere apologies, and efforts to make amends, and a commitment to rebuild the trust and the communication within the relationship. Reconciliation requires the active participation of the two people to work together and to resolve the conflict for a different future. So now, when somebody wrongs you and you say, I'm not going to forgive them because they have not made amends, forgiveness has nothing to do with making amends. Reconciliation does. Reconciliation is when you're going back with the person and then you're making a new relationship with the person, that you're moving forward. Now we're working together to get to a different place, to get to that place of that new future, that new image, that new life. Okay? So again, when we talk about so now when we talk about so me for instance, right now I'm in a situation where somebody wronged me deeply, deeply, deeply. I know for me, I want to forgive. Am I ready to reconcile? It does not depend on me. It takes two people to reconcile, because it takes the other person now to come and apologize and make amends and want to work with you. So you see how forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person. Forgiveness is simply a release of those negative feelings, of those negative emotions. But then why is forgiveness important, right? Because you're like, no, the person wronged me. I feel bad. I feel sick in my stomach. And you know what? I cannot forgive. I don't want to forgive. But what are the benefits of forgiving? Because there are benefits to it. The first thing is emotional healing. Holding a negative feeling in your heart, resentment, anger, sadness, and keeping them in will end up poisoning other parts of your life that has nothing to do with this person who wronged you. Forgiveness, when you don't forgive, you are actually every single day re-ingesting this poison and hurting your body. You're hurting your emotional health. But then there's also an element of physical health as well when it comes to forgiveness. The negative chemical reactions that it creates inside of your body affects your body. So you're hitting and hurting your body constantly by harboring those negative feelings. Now, so it is in your best interest to let go of those feelings. Okay? Forgiveness has to directly do with personal growth. It's complex, but we're not going to go too far into that one yet. Because when I talk about personal growth, it allows you to see you as a human being, and it allows you to see the other person as a human being. It allows you to understand and to have compassion for the person who wronged you, but also for yourself. Because by releasing the negative emotions, when you get to the point where you release the negative emotions, you are you are also at the place where you accept that you have been wronged. You accept that this person did not meet your expectations. When you forgive someone, you accept that after all, at the end of the day, people will disappoint. You will also disappoint other people. This is it's inevitable. The same way this person can hurt you, can disappoint you, you can go ahead and disappoint and hurt another person. This is just how life works. When you're able to, when you forgive, you're able to recognize that this person is a human being and they are fallible. And you too are, because you too are a human being and you are fallible. Forgiveness promotes peace. And where there's peace, you can have growth. Remember, the School of Superpowers is all about evolution of humanity. I mean, you can evolve this way, you can evolve that way. The School of Superpowers is involved in the growth that goes like this, the evolution, upward evolution, because we can go down the drain and go into the abyss of hell as well as part of our evolution. I choose not to participate in that, which is why I'm saying that the hard thing to do is to forgive, because forgiveness gives you healing, emotional healing, physical healing. It helps you with your personal development. It helps you understand people. It helps you develop compassion. It helps you develop humility, because you ain't that perfect. You're not that perfect. You can too be in a position where you need forgiveness from someone because you've wronged them. People make mistakes. That still has nothing to do with reconciliation. Reconciliation is two people coming together to make something work. So you might want to forgive someone and the person is not even ready to reconcile with you because, first of all, they did not even admit they did anything wrong. So they're not trying to reconcile with you. So you might want to check yourself. Is the person willing to work with me? Is the person willing to reconcile with me? Or am I in this by myself? If you're in this by yourself, then you're at the stage of forgiveness. Forgiveness has nothing to do with reconciliation, but reconciliation involves forgiveness, because in order to reconcile with someone, you have to be able to forgive them, and they have to be able to ask for forgiveness as well, sincerely. Now, I want to share with you one of the greatest stories of forgiveness and reconciliation. And you guys know that story. You know one of my favorite heroes, right? Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was in prison for 27 years because he was fighting against apartheid in South Africa. He was tired of seeing people not free. He was tired of seeing people getting hurt. He was tired of seeing his people suffer. What did he do? He said, I will not give up on this fight. When it was time for him they were negotiating his letting him go. He said, not until apartheid still exists, I will always keep fighting against that. Now, the last president who was under the apartheid era in South Africa was de Klerk. De Klerk, white, probably racist, pro-apartheid guy coming into the situation, right? Through Nelson Mandela maintaining his stance, forgiving everybody who has wronged them. Remember, Nelson Mandela forgave his jailers when he was crowned or named or proclaimed president of South Africa. His jailers, he gave them the front row seat. He gave them the front row seat, not because he wanted to stick it to them, but he wanted to show a sign of forgiveness and of reconciliation. Because what de Klerk and Nelson Mandela did was, not only did Nelson Mandela forgive de Klerk and his ideologies, but de Klerk was able to take in that feedback that he's a racist person, right? And that he was promoting injustice in the country. And they were able to now work together, which is the reconciliation part. They were able to work together up to the point that Nelson Mandela became the next president of South Africa. You see how it took forgiveness as a beginning. Nelson Mandela was not trying to, he wasn't resentful. He was not trying to stick it to them. He was not trying to make them pay. Instead, he says, I'm stopping. I forgive you. How can we work together? Are you ready to work together with me so we can change this whole thing for everybody else? Nelson Mandela was not stuck in his feelings, which would not allow him to get to that next step of reconciliation, which ended up saving all these other people after him. That is the power of reconciliation, is when you're reconnecting two parties that were separated together for a new future. And since then, we must say that the racism still exists, but apartheid in the way that it was in South Africa is no longer, because of Nelson Mandela stopping, forgiving, and then reconciling. Now we can forgive and we're like, stay away from me. That is not growth for the two parties. That is growth for you personally, because you've released the negative emotions, you've done the work, but you have not reconciled, which is what two people coming together to create something new. I want to share some quotes with you around the concept of forgiveness and reconciliation. And then I want to talk to you guys about what reconciliation is not, what forgiveness is not, because we need to be clear about it. Because I think after this live, I want all of us to feel empowered that forgiveness is up to us. And we are all capable of forgiveness. And then I'm going to give you a few pointers as to how to forgive. And please, I'm teaching you this and I'm in the middle of it. So I'm teaching it to myself as well. I'll share with you what I'm going to do to forgive that person who wronged me. That person wronged me so deeply that I even shared that on Facebook. If you go on my Facebook page, you're going to see, oh my God, this person, I didn't name the person's name, but it was such a hard thing for me to deal with that I felt like the world needed to know, right? So I am in it too. I'm not a hypocrite to say that, forgiveness is not an easy thing after somebody has wronged you. But let's go to the quotes. And the first quote I'm going to take is Nelson Mandela, right? Reconciliation means working together to correct the legacy of past injustice. Reconciliation means working together to correct the legacy of past injustice. Think for a moment. You're a dude, you have your wife, and your wife wronged you. Right? Your wife, I don't know, wronged you, cheated on you, backstabbed you, did something, disappointed you, let you down, broke the trust. What do? Nelson Mandela says, if you want to reconcile with that person, you have to work together with this person to correct the injustice that this person did. So it's not just a matter of asking the person to jump through hoops while you're hating on them or you're harboring resentment. And then it's because this is retaliation. This is you manipulating the person, asking them to do all these things so they can mend the relationship. Do not believe any reconciliation when it does not involve the two parties, the person that was wronged and the perpetrator. Reconciliation, remember de Klerk and Nelson Mandela. De Klerk did not just come and started doing things for Nelson Mandela. They worked together because he had to listen to what Nelson Mandela was asking and to do the thing that Nelson Mandela was seeking, not for him to go and do whatever he wanted to do. So again, think about it. That wife, that husband that wronged you. Do you really want to reconcile with them? Question one. Do you think y'all are capable of reconciling? Because you have to be able to see the person doing the effort, both parties, the perpetrator and the person who was wronged. A lot of times, the person who was wrong sits like this, makes it very difficult for the other person to come in and mend the relationship. This is not called reconciliation. This is called a bunch of other things: gaslighting, manipulation, retaliation, revenge. Revenge takes that form. I'm going to make them do all these things, but I'm not working with them. When you see those two people working together, honestly and sincerely, the person forgave the hurt because they understand that the person across from them is human. The other person to taking responsibility for what they've done in their actions and willing to work on it. That is different. That is reconciliation. And that's what Nelson Mandela and de Klerk did. They worked together. So don't be fooled. You can forgive somebody, but reconciliation takes two. Forgiveness takes one. Okay? Martin Luther King, another one of my heroes. Forgiveness is not an occasional act, it's a constant attitude. Again, look at where these people come from. Martin Luther King comes from the same type of situation as Nelson Mandela, fighting for injustice, fighting for civil rights. And after all of the things, after all this research, he's letting you know forgiveness is not an occasional act. You got to be doing it all the time. Why? Because everybody is human and everybody's fallible. And the more people you have around you, the more people you interact with, the more people are close to you, the more they can let you down and hurt your feelings and let you down. So then forgiveness is something that you constantly have to do on a daily basis. I'm not talking about reconciliation still. I'm talking about forgiveness in this situation. Martin Luther King is saying we have no place to harbor resentment and harbor hatred and harbor revenge feelings because we know it doesn't bring us forward. Forgiveness does, because at least for our personal sake, forgiveness helps us remain healthy, become healthy. Corazon Aquino, he's a Filipino president who restored democracy in the Philippines after they had this kind of like Papa Doc person rule the country before him, right? So he came to restore democracy after dictatorship. And he said reconciliation should be accompanied by justice. Otherwise, it will not last. Think about it. You remember what I said? It has to be accompanied by justice. Because if I forgive you and then we're about to reconcile, we're trying to reconcile, and you're not owning up to what you did, you're not mending this behavior, and you're not giving me justice, acting fairly, changing your behavior, it will not last. Because then you're going to do the same thing to me again, right? That's really pretty much what he's saying. And these people are coming from, they've dealt with those situations from a place of hurt that hurt a group of people, not just one person, right? And they're coming to you with those profound understanding, right? Reconciliation should be accompanied by justice. Otherwise, it will not last. That woman or that guy who backstab you and now coming back, not changing their behavior, the reconciliation will not last because the person is not coming with a fair mindset, with justice in their minds. They're coming probably to con you again, right? All right. I gave you those 3 quotes. I have another 4th one, but we're going to keep it for that for now. Okay. So reconciliation, okay, right? Reconciliation, forgiveness. We're starting to understand forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person. It's a personal act. Forgiveness, what is forgiveness not? Okay, let's clear up forgiveness now, because at the end of this life, I want all of us to feel like, you know what? Let me identify who I need to forgive or what situation I need to forgive, because the more I forgive, I create more space for myself. Okay? Forgiveness does not mean excusing or condoning the other person's actions. So it's not because you forgive somebody who done you wrong that automatically you're saying you are okaying what the person did. It's 2 different things. Remember, forgiveness and that doesn't have anything to do with the other person or the other person's behavior. It has to do with you releasing energy. So forgiveness does not mean excusing or condoning no people's bad actions. So it's not because I forgive you that I mean I agree with what you did to me. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. I forgive, but I won't forget. Okay. Forgiveness does not mean, it's not because I forgive you that I have to forget everything that you've done. Even in a moment of reconciliation, right? Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. But if I keep bringing back up what you've done to me, and then I'm giving it back to you, serving it back to you on a plate, then this is called revenge. This is called retaliation, and you have not forgiven. Okay? So forgiveness does not mean forgetting. You can not forget it, but you have forgiven because this is something that has been done to you. Forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. So you can forgive somebody and then you choose to just forgive the person, but you guys are not reconciling. You guys are not going back into your relationship together. You guys are not doing that. Forgiveness and reconciliation are not the same. So I can forgive you, but I have not reconciled with you. Also, forgiveness does not mean ignoring my boundaries. So you did something to me, I took a step back and I forgave you, but it doesn't mean that I have to open the door back up to you. It has nothing to do with that because you can still maintain healthy boundaries with this person who has wronged you while still having forgiven them. So you can forgive the person and set your healthy boundaries with that person, not in a vindictive way, not in a I'm going to stick it to you kind of way, because it means you have not finished with the forgiveness exercise. Forgiveness is when you think about the situation because you did not forget it. It doesn't destroy you completely, and you don't feel like you need to pay the person back. And you're also not expecting anything from this person in terms of acknowledgement. It doesn't change the fact. Their acknowledgement does not make your forgiveness easier or less easy, because forgiveness has to do with you releasing the negative energy. To release it, let it go for your sake. Hey, Renelle. Also, forgiveness is not instantaneous, guys. It takes time. It's okay to give yourself time. Like right now, I'm in the process of forgiving this person in my mind, but it's taking me time. Because sometimes, you're still upset at this, you're still upset at that. But then why are you really upset? If you really think about it, when somebody wrongs you, when somebody lets you down, and so when somebody does something to you, one of the things that's the hardest to let go of, which is why it's hard to forgive, is what the person took away from you. Let's just say it was your husband. Let's say it's my husband, right? And this person decides to cheat on me, right? And then now I feel like I cannot trust them anymore. Well, this person took away this trusting relationship that I had with him, right? If somebody lets you down and somebody does not give you what they promised they were going to give you, what hurts the most is the fact that the person took your hope away from you. The person took away the good feeling that this thing that they were doing with you, to you, with you, they took it away from you. And that hurts. And that's why you really hate the person, because they took something away from you. It's not even so much about the person, but about how it made you feel. So when we're talking about forgiveness, it's the acceptance of these things. In the moment that you accept that you're not going to get those things, okay, I release the trust that I had with this person because it's gone. Until we reconcile and we mend it, but it's gone. Forgiveness asks us to grieve. And grieving is hard because you go through all the emotions of anger, of sadness, of pain, of disappointment, of hope, of fail. All these things, you go through all these feelings when you're forgiving someone, when you're grieving a situation. Forgiveness is like grieving because you have to let something go, and you hold on to the anger because the anger validates or justifies the way you feel. Grieving is hard. Letting go of anything that you loved, that you cherished, is hard. So if the person promised you a beautiful life, the person told you how much they loved you and they're going to give this to you, and then the person takes that away from you, you have to grieve the loss of that thing. I'm even going to go further, guys. Everybody does Netflix and chill at some point, right? Most of us do anyway. Do you see how you feel after you watch a series that had 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons in it? That feeling? This is grieving as well, because it's taking away something from you that you were relying on, that you were using to make you feel good. And now the person took away that feel good thing from you. You see, forgiveness is giving that up and being okay that it's gone and accepting it. It's not being okay that it's gone, it's accepting that it's gone. That's what it is. Let go and let God. Recognize, you see, we were talking about humility. Then it forces you to be humble, to recognize that it was maybe not for you to hold on to for the rest of your life, that it had a beginning and that it had an end. Or sometimes that it didn't even have a long shelf life, right? Okay. Forgiveness. Forgiveness, I said this already. Forgiveness is not conditional on another person coming in and saying this and saying that. Because the person telling you how sorry they are is truly not enough for you to actually let the feeling go. You might feel validated, justified, but you still have to forgive. You still have to go through the process of releasing it. Fabrice, I'm going to call you back, okay? I forgot to call you back today. I'm going to call you back. Okay. So then how do you forgive? That's the big question, right? Now, if forgiveness is all this and all that, then how do I forgive? How can I forgive someone? It's a step-by-step process. It's not instantaneous. You would want it to me, certainly I would want it to be, because I don't like dealing with bad emotions and bad feelings. So I kind of want to rush through it, but you can't really rush through it. You have to go through the feeling, just like grieving. You have to go through the yucky feelings. The first thing about forgiveness is acknowledging your feelings. Acknowledge them. Allow yourself to feel the pain. Allow yourself to feel the anger. Allow yourself to feel the feelings of revenge, and allow yourself to go through it, because you have to release all of these energies. Repressing them and masking them with a face, "Oh, I don't care." You're killing your own self, because you're swallowing a poison. Release it. Let it go. Give yourself permission to feel those feelings. You don't have to lash out at nobody. You don't have to burn anything down. You simply have to feel it and sit and feel. Don't justify your feelings, explain your feeling, understand your feelings. What happens in the mind stays in the mind. What happens in the heart is in the heart. Get away from your mind, focus on your feelings, and let yourself feel the feelings of disappointment. And do not judge yourself. That's again a mind exercise. Judgment is a mind exercise. Your heart doesn't judge, your heart feels. Understand the benefits of forgiveness. We just spoke about all the benefits of forgiveness. It's going to make you freer. You won't have to avoid the person, meaning when the person, you see the person or you see, it doesn't bring back pain and suffering, because you already mended the situation. You forgave. You, forgiveness, remember, it means accepting what happened. So you accepted that this happened. You don't judge yourself for this happening to you, because what? You develop humility. Humility allows you to understand that this can happen to you. This can happen to another person. You are human. You're a human being. This is part of the human experience. In that sense, you are not special, right? Because we're all in this together. If Renelle can feel hurt because of a situation, I can also feel hurt because of a situation. I'm not better. I'm not shielded from pain. Suffering is another thing, guys. Do not suffer. Try to feel pain, but don't suffer. Actually, not forgiving is harboring suffering, is creating sufferance in your life, because you're constantly reliving this thing. That's called suffering. Constantly reliving the pain and feeling it as if it happened the first day. And you're ruminating and that's suffering. That's attached to not forgiving. Forgive, because it puts you in a position of power, actually. Because now when you're facing this person or across around this person, you understand, you overstand, and you are accepting of that this happened. But you have boundaries. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen to you again. But it also does not mean that you will never feel pain again. We cannot avoid pain in this life. We have to learn how to get through them. Pain oftentimes does not last long. It's the suffering that lasts long. So how do we deal with the pain? process the pain, and move forward, right? It takes time. It is not instantaneous. It helps you really to release expectations, because a lot of times when we have to forgive somebody, it's because they've wronged us and it's because they let us down. They did something they were not supposed to do, or they did not do something they were supposed to do. Well, release expectations, accepting that the person is human. Release it and let it go. This is part of self care. And when you release expectations, you tend to see people for who they are, for real, and you are not projecting your fantasy onto other people. And you are able to better identify the people who can give this or that to you versus the other person who didn't, couldn't, failed to, or maybe made a mistake and wants to mend the relationship. Identify the people who are willing to mend a relationship with you. Identify the people who are willing to work with you. These are the people you keep close. If you really think about it, if you think about all these equations that we were talking about, if somebody's willing to work with you to fix something after they've wronged you, honestly, sincerely want to, and are showing the ability to do that, this person, I'm sorry guys, something is in my eyes. This person definitely deserves big kudos, because if you think about it, most people will disappoint you anyway. That's part of life. You disappoint people too. Okay. So they disappoint you. We disappoint each other. What you want to see is how do we come out of that? Does the person ghost you and never speaks to you again? Does the person make it your fault? Or is the person, once they recognize it, they are apologizing and they are honestly looking for a way to reconcile with you? Now you have a choice to reconcile or not, but you see how the person is willing to work with you as a partnership. These are the people that you need to, you know, it's worth a lot. It's worth a lot, because not everybody is willing to work with you. Or sometimes you running after the person because you want them to work it out with you. They're not trying to do that. It's you who want that. So you can feel better. Feel better by forgiving. Right? You don't chase reconciliation, because it's a dance that's danced with two people. Seek support. Talk about it. One of my friends said something so powerful the other day. She was explaining again a situation of somebody letting her down, right? And I was like, wow, like you speak of it. I kind of didn't want to say it like that, but I did. I said, well, you speak of it so freely. And then she said, shame only exists in the darkness, in the dark. So speak about things that embarrass you, because that's a way for you to release it. Today I had a tough day. I mean, just speaking it out loud to people that I trust, because it has to be people that you trust. Speaking it out loud and sharing it with people somehow makes it so much more bearable, because you get to understand, you get to have compassion for yourself, you get to gain a little bit more humility, because holding on to it and hiding it, it's almost like you don't even want to see it for yourself. But accepting that we're all human and that we're not perfect and that these things happen is so much powerful. It's so powerful. Imagine two people who are on an island, okay? They're only the two people on the island. There's no other people. They don't have a way to get off the island. They're just on the island together. A man and a woman, or a man and a man, or a woman and a woman. Two people in a partnership. I mean, at this point, you're in a partnership, right? It's the two of you there. If person A wrongs person B, right? Person B is upset. Person B goes through it. Person B forgives by releasing the negative emotions. So now person B walking around the island is feeling a little bit better, because they don't have to avoid that person to not feel bad anymore. They don't have to do all that, because before the forgiveness, they kind of had to shield themselves away from this person because it hurts so much. And they hate the person. They want to revenge. It's about all these negative energy that you have when you harbor resentment. So now person B forgave. But forgiveness That's step one. But what about the reconciliation? Imagine if those two people never reconciled. So it means they're living separately. They're not supporting each other on the island anymore. They're not representing each other's back. None of that is happening. So you see how much less they have because they are the only two people on the island that could give them each other some kind of human interaction, but they're not even doing that. They're completely separate. So these are two people who decide not to reconcile. Do you see the benefit of reconciliation in that situation? Isn't it in their best interest to reconcile and to get back to being together so that they can actually survive? They have a better chance of surviving on the island? Okay. You see those two people? So I think you all agree that in this case, forgiveness and reconciliation are almost a must. Because I mean, what are we doing if we're not doing that? You have the only two bodies of this island, and they're not interacting with each other. You see those two people on the island? It's you and you. It's your relationship with you now. You have your heart, and then you have your mind, and the island is the body, right? Is the gut, is the three things. If they don't work together, you see how subpar, you see how disconnected, who's going to tend to the land? So person A tends to the land over here, person B, there's no cohesion, there's no working together, there's no growth. The mind is missing the heart is missing the mind, because they all need to work together to create and to procreate, right? This is you and you. Think about things and times that you probably needed to forgive yourself. Do you have a hard time forgiving yourself for things that you've done to other people or to yourself? Places that you have let yourself down. First of all, have you acknowledged them? Have you recognized the places that you have let yourself down? That you have stabbed your own back. You have not showed up for your own self. You have let yourself down. Identify that and recognize how crucial it is for you to forgive yourself. Because by harboring those negative and resentful feelings for yourself, to yourself, is you killing yourself on your own. Now, let's say you are able to forgive yourself. You've got to a point where you said, man, Anne Christie, you know what? You're human. You make mistakes. You made mistakes. You shot in the dark and you missed the mark. You let yourself down here. You did not protect yourself the way you were. You did not care for yourself in the way you were supposed to. You did not show up for yourself in the way that you should. But we tend to be hard on ourselves, right? We tend to be like, you little witch, why did you not do that? Why did you not? That's how a lot of people, we speak to ourselves. One of my friends said to me this week, she said, we were at the gym and she said, probably 95% of the people at the gym hate themselves. A lot of us have this negative relationship with ourselves. Let's start with the forgiveness. Let's start by identifying where we have let ourselves down and not stay in denial. When you're in a relationship with a guy or a woman, the person is cheating on you, hurting you all the time, but you just decide to stay in denial because you don't want to see the truth. Well, we sometimes do that to ourselves as well, right? If we have the tendency of avoiding, of denial, of not seeing. Let's bring this back. Let's look at it and let's become humble and let's have compassion and understanding of our human nature. As much as we want to think of ourselves as like the top tier of the top tier, remember that you are human and that you will let yourself down. But what is it that you do? Remember those two people on the island. So now I'm forgiving myself. I'm accepting, okay, you know what? All these negative feelings I have about myself. Just check the way you speak to yourself. You will see if you forgive yourself, you forgave yourself or not. You will see if you're still harboring resentment towards yourself. You will see if you're retaliating against yourself, you're punishing yourself, or you're speaking down to yourself because of something that you should have done that you didn't do. Forgive yourself. Forgiving does not mean condoning, remember? Forgiving does not mean condoning the bad behavior. Same goes for you. You forgiving yourself does not mean that you've condoned the bad actions that you did or the things that you didn't do that you were supposed to do. It does not condone it. It simply accept the fact that it is, and that you are human, and that you made a mistake, that you came out not perfect. Forgiveness does not mean condoning. So you made a mistake. By you forgiving yourself, you're not being lax on yourself, right? You're simply being compassionate. You have empathy, and you're developing humility. Forgiveness is a courageous act of humility. After you forgave yourself, what do? Are you going to work with yourself to continue on? Or are you going to be like, you know what? I'm done with you. You did this. I forgave you, but we're done. We're not doing this anymore. By the way, this is why a lot of people don't try anymore. This is why a lot of people don't try, because they're afraid of letting themselves down, right? They are afraid of not meeting their own expectations for the same reasons that some people don't reconcile. Because now you've wronged me. Okay, I forgave you, but I don't know if you're not going to come back and stab me in the back again. I don't know if you're capable of working with me. Remember, Nelson Mandela believed that de Klerk was capable of working with him, and he made sure that this happened, and they worked together, and they changed South Africa. What can you do? Can you do this with yourself? Can you work with yourself to continue on a new path when you were going down the wrong path? Are you willing to give yourself a chance again and say, you know what, let's try this again. Let's try this again. Let's do this again. Can we do that? When we can do that for ourselves, we develop this courageous humility that I was talking about. Because as much as we think we are great, what it requires is for us to see ourselves as flawed individuals, see ourselves as fallible individuals. And from that perspective, decide, you know what, we can keep going on together. We can continue going on as a team. You, me, I and I, the I and I. We can still do the I and I. Versus the you ain't shit, let me put you to the side. And then now you're working, you're living, but you're separate. You're living as a human being, but you're separate from yourself because there was something that occurred that did not allow you to move past the point of forgiveness, or even maybe not even forgiving, but even past the point of forgiveness and into reconciliation, and actively work together to create a new reality. That is what I'm doing right now. I'm hoping to get through the phase of forgiveness and then reconciling with myself, because you can reconcile with someone, but you can also reconcile with yourself. When you start to learn to do that with yourself, you're going to have so much more understanding and compassion for the people next to you. You're going to have so much more understanding. And all of what we're talking about right now, all of what it requires. You remember when I was telling you evolution can be like this, can be like this, or can be like this? Well, when you have love, evolution is like this. Because you want the best. Love is multiplicative, is growth, is abundant, an abundance. So it's exponential. It shoots up. When you add love, the process of reconciliation involves love, the love of something. What did Nelson Mandela love so much? He loved his people. And because of the love that he had for his people, he went through the reconciliation. He forgave, and he went through the reconciliation process because he believed that the results would benefit his people. Love. When you reconcile with your husband, with your wife, with your partner, with your friend, you are choosing to put love into a situation in order to create something new for the next generation, for the future. You're adding love to it. So today is Valentine's Day. We're celebrating love. Let's celebrate love of ourselves. Let us forgive ourselves. Let us practice courageous humility. And let's work with ourselves and reconcile with ourselves so that we can create a future that other people are going to be able to benefit. Our friends, our family, our kids, our spouse, our careers, everybody's going to benefit whenever you reconcile a situation that was broken. You see? Guys, that's all I have. My live started at 8:01. I'm ending it at 9:01, maybe 9:04. I'm gonna do my exit. But let's take some time. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Happy Valentine's Day to your family. But remember, Valentine's is just a concept. They use the 14th. It's a myth because in reality, it's just a reminder that love exists and that we can tap into it and we can utilize it. Love is one of the hardest things I think it is out there because it requires so much understanding, empathy, compassion. If I'm only loving you when you're perfect, meaning you did not wrong me, you did not hurt my feelings, I love you. The moment you do something to me, I don't love you anymore. My love is gone. All the love is gone. Happy Valentine's Day, Kenny. All the love is gone, right? Because you wronged me. All the love is gone for myself because I let you wrong me. There's no love there. But it's through humility, compassion, and empathy that you find this love again. And that you're able to look at this person with compassion because you understand that they did something to you, but it's their human nature. Everybody's struggling. Nobody's not struggling, guys. Everybody's struggling. We see people online on social media and we think that their lives are perfect. They're not because we're all going through this human experience. Remember that. And with that is going to allow you to have more compassion for yourself and more compassion for the other person, more understanding of the other person. When somebody lets you down, it is not the end of the world. That's what I'm telling myself. It is not the end of my world that somebody let me down. It doesn't make me less than. Somebody letting you down has nothing to do with your worth. It simply has to do with their expression of their humanity into the world. It has nothing to do with you. When you are able to take a step back, you do the forgiveness because you recognize that what happened had nothing to do with you. In reality, this is the person's expression of their humanity into this world. You are able to forgive because now you have understanding. Oh my God, my screen went away again. Okay, my screen is back, right? So, guys, that's what I'm leaving you with. I'm going to wish you a happy Valentine's Day. I'm going to see you again in 2 weeks, but I'm changing my show. You see, I'm not on Instagram anymore because Instagram is a whole mess to connect on the platform. So I'm not doing that anymore. I'll just post the live on Instagram when we're done. I'm going to continue on Facebook and YouTube because they work well. And then thank you, Guy Philippe. Thank you so much. Because they work well. So you're going to see me again in 2 weeks, but I'm going to start changing my shows to doing it every Monday in about 2 or 3 weeks. I'm going to do it every Monday. And it's not just going to be me speaking all this time. I'm going to speak and present a topic because today the topic is reconciliation for the month of February. And then I'm going to have people come and then we're going to talk about forgiveness and we're going to talk about reconciliation. So we're going to do that for the month of February. If you have another topic, guys, that you're interested in, please send me a message, send me a DM. Let me know if you have another topic that you would like to discuss and talk about. I can always talk about these topics on my platform. I mean, even on the No Filter channel as well. They're very open to great content that can help people evolve. And that's what we're doing. So that's what we're going to keep on doing. But reconciliation is the theme of the month for No Filter. So watch out for No Filter. Right now, we're on YouTube. We are on Facebook on No Filter as well. Please, guys, if you want to give donations, I mean, we have to do that as part of No Filter channel. Not have to, but it's encouraged because we're working on a bunch of interesting documentaries right now, and it's a for not for profit platform. I don't get paid for doing this. They don't get paid for doing it. Anything we use donations to create more content. So if ever you guys are interested on Facebook, and I think on Facebook and YouTube, I think you can donate. You can donate on my channel as well, the School of Superpowers. I would love that. I'm also on Facebook and I'm also on YouTube there. Okay, guys. So again, I'm one DM away. Send me a message if you're interested in speaking about a specific topic, or if you want a one-on-one, because the School of Superpowers also does one-on-ones. Not everybody wants to speak publicly, but may want to go one-on-one and go deep into a topic. Sometimes you're just stuck. I'm really good at changing people's perspectives. So hit me up if you guys are interested in a one-on-one session. All right. I love you all and have a good night. I guess the stream doesn't want to end. I guess I should stay on forever. Why is the stream not ending? I think I'm just going to close my thing like this.